If the whole point was because of Facebook doing this, what Donald Trump kind of alluded to in his post on True Social, then why wasn't that the main argument being put out by you guys? That, hey, this is just a big Facebook play. They're just trying to get more market share by getting rid of a competitor. Yeah. Fine, make that argument then. You can't come at the last hour and try to make us believe that that's the only reason why you now have a change of heart on it.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's grab last chat here.
All right, chat from Dark Stevie. Would 230 reform really fix our current problem with big tech? What should be done for the huge companies that got big on set of policies and then abused their market shares afterwards?
Well, this is one that we've talked about. Would it fix everything? No, but it creates a standard. Okay. Again, we explain this very often, but I think it's very important so that you remember this. Section 230. Okay. You're either a platform or you're a publisher. So, for example, Verizon, your Vonage, if they're still around, they are treated as a utility. I mean, even if neo-Nazis get on there and say, hey, we hate blacks, yeah, we do, we don't like them, yeah, we're idiots, okay. They can't be kicked off of the service for having stupid opinions, right? Why? Because this is a utility. And in return, Verizon, Vonage, T-Mobile, whoever it is, they are not held liable for what is discussed on their platform, a utility. It was equivalent to a telecommunications version of the town square, meaning you cannot simply put someone in jail or infringe upon their freedom in a public area to express opinions with which people disagree. This is very different, by the way, from, we have laws, calls to violence, right? Threats of violence, specific lying to defame somebody. Outside of that, the laws, no matter how offensive the opinion is, it is permissible and someone cannot have their rights infringed upon. That does not apply to a publisher. For example, the New York Times, the Washington Post, or a book, right? People can be sued. They're held liable for what they
do. I accidentally started with the wrong name again. I need to start looking at that closer.
An article that is actually defamatory. They can be held liable for the things that they write. There are consequences. So YouTube, Facebook, Meta, TikTok,
it'll get bad.
That's why the comment section can be riddled with awful things. You go, oh my God, no company in their right mind would publish that. But that's not their problem. It's an open platform. The problem is when they decide to start censoring comments not based on law, but on points of view. So now you have, for example, YouTube offering to edit videos beforehand, telling you what you can and cannot say. Hold on a second, we're a public platform where we should be in line with the First Amendment, we should be in line with the Constitution, but you can't question election results. Are you allowed to question the exact same standard? Are you allowed to question election results in a public space? Of course you are.
Or at least the speed limit, dude, 25.
As permitted to question election results in the digital town square, because they are afforded the same legal protections and luxuries. However, they act as publishers when it's convenient for them, and they act as platforms when it's convenient for them, even though they operate outside of the law. So, define it and make sure that these platforms are beholden to it. Either you are a public utility, you are a platform where you do not censor points of view whatsoever, or you are a publisher, meaning if you censor comments, if you remove comments, not because of crimes, but you remove them because of points of view, or you favor certain parts of content or kinds of content because of point of view. For example, if you ensure that people see pro-vaccine, pro-Moderna, pro-Pfizer messages, and that the pages to which they're subscribed are throttled and they don't see it, you are now acting as a publisher because you are determining what people say, and you should be held liable for that. That's what 230 is. You don't get to play both sides of that fence. It's not a solution.
They all do.
It's a start. It's a start, and it's
They all do.
I don't trust you. It's that
simple. Thank goodness you're turning. Jeez, oh Pete's, dude.
Equally. That's section.
Oh, you got to swing out that little bitty van.
New York Times. Are you Simon and Schuster? Are you ABC, NBC, PBS, or are you a platform? Are you a utility? Are you like a telephone service? Are you like Facebook, Meta, Instagram, Twitter? You have to pick. You're either liable, you're on the hook, or you're not. Not on the hook hat on, liability hat off. That's the start. And you're not seeing enough people push for it. Does that explain it relatively effectively?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, final chat. I know I said final chat, but we'll do one final chat.
Final.
Hopefully it's a fun one.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. From Flying Falcon, question for Stephen. Now that the field is set and the ongoing investigations are on both sides, who do you think will have the bigger October surprise? Any guesses on what it might be?
Here's the thing. I don't really know that they can have an October surprise on Donald Trump, because it's been nothing. It's been true.
It's an everyday surprise on Donald Trump.
It's been September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. I've been gone to November surprises.
It's all white noise at this point.
At this point, it's all white noise. Like, he becomes Teflon Don, not because
cleanliness in the neighborhood.
There have been no
it's actually a pretty clean neighborhood there.
But because there's been so much shit tossed against him, and he's had to deal with it, that people just go, all right.
Weird, no Somalis.
Shit. Yes. Effectively, but that's the media. Yeah. What do you think? So, in other words, I think it would be more impactful. Now, this.
They'll wait till next month before they start planting the flowers. They always do tons of flowers downtown in the village there.
That would have affected the election. Goes back to that October surprise. If an October surprise takes place in a forest with nobody there to hear it, that's why 2:30 is so important. That's why the equal travel of information in our digital spaces is important. Because, hey, you could have the most damning, you could have the most significant, you could have, and by the way, I said Watergate is an example historically, but it's absolutely child's play compared to what you could have Watergate, and if no one hears about it, it's a non-issue.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking
I think for Donald Trump, the October surprise is probably going to be something like a conviction. If they try to time a conviction with one of these cases, if they can get it. But if they try to time that so that it hurts him at the last minute, oh, he's convicted and he can't be president of the United States, and then somebody has to step in, or he just loses outright, whatever. I think that's probably the scenario that we're looking at that's most likely that they'll try. Who knows? Maybe they have something else up their sleeve. I don't know. Maybe accusing him of sleeping with gorgeous women will be the next October surprise. Again, morally reprehensible for him to sleep around like that and cheat. I get it. But I'm just saying.
They're more successful at accusing him of sleeping with ugly women.
Yeah, well, no, but just like maybe, pick Eugene Carroll or Arnold Schwarzenegger's maid. That would have made like, Donald Trump did that? Gross.
Yeah.
Right. But the other part is with former Vice President Joe Biden, I think waking up in October would be the October surprise for him.
Yes.
So if he makes it that long, I'll be surprised.
Yeah.
Either actually like physically or making it as the candidate.
I think that's a good point. And I think that if former Vice President Joe Biden wakes up in October, that would be the first October surprise. The second surprise would be him waking up to a pillow over his face held by Kamala Harris. One can hope. We'll see you tomorrow. Surprise!
Yeah, I mean, funny you say that. I mean, it is stressful, but it's also rewarding for the ones that I hire that actually do a good job. Now, the IT stuff is actually pretty simple. I mean, I don't mind that. It's just dealing with. I don't like to deal with people anymore. Just people in general. They suck. In just about every way. People suck. Suck a big one. Well, I'm gonna get something on here for you guys while I'm gone. Actually, we'll just listen to the scanner, I guess. And I'll have something when I get back. Yeah, I get it, man. I get it. I'll be right back.
For general broadcast in the city of Maumee, near Kona and Anthony Wayne Trail, callers reporting a silver Dodge truck with a plate of Edward Queen 5092 following other vehicles and cussing at people, possibly a Hispanic male with road rage. Last seen southbound on Conant Street. Time is going to be 11:55.
188 dispatch.
188.
I'll respond.
Okay, I'll show you en route.
265 number.
Edward,
172 is around as well.
show you on.
What 72 is on scene?
On scene.
On scene.
On scene.
Gotta get my unsweetened tea. All right. Let's get the flock on the road. Oh, that car came out of nowhere. Anyone else? No. All right, let's try and pull up next stream. Ugh.
172 to George.
Okay, both George.
This guy's gonna fucking try and make this turn before the light change. Nope, not gonna do it. Robert always on time. He's 1 minute late. I doubt it. I think she takes breaks, which is probably a good idea for most of us to take a break from YouTube from time to time. I know a lot of people have been getting sick lately too. Got my cup on the way, though. Midwest sent me my cup, my tumbler. So I'll be drinking tea out of my tumbler. Instruction. See if it's still working. It says there's construction here. There's no construction. Alright. I don't know why this stream hasn't started yet. This guy always starts on time.
Charges are so broad and generic, if it's like, well, you did a bad thing one time. You go, what? And that's it, basically what happened here. They're saying, you did a bad thing one time.
Oh, that's what I asked for.
Well, what is that?
You're right.
Does Fanny speak? Fanny is saying, you violated your oath of office. You go, oh, okay. Why? Because you swore to uphold and defend the Constitution. Okay. So you violated what provision of the Constitution? What did you look at specifically?
Yeah, I like him. I generally like. Here's the deal. It's just, I don't know. His obsession with Chili de Castro to me is kind of weird.
And so, briefly, here's what Anna Bauer is showing us. So she did a summation of these charges. And
you're lucky you're not on Twitter too, man. He just
Eastman and Smith,
he piles on the posts on Twitter.
But soliciting public officers to violate their oath of office,
whatever.
Right, again, oath of office. Violating what? Having a conversation. All right, they had a meeting at the state capitol. You're allowed to have conversations. You're allowed to meet. Trump charges Trump with soliciting a public offer to a public officer to violate their oath. In addition to a phone call to House Speaker, right? So Trump, this is a phone call from Trump. He calls House Speaker, and they said, "You violated your oath of office." He's like, "What? Why? By talking to Trump? What specifically? What part of my oath specifically they violated?" Giuliani and Smith, count 6. Also charges both Giuliani and Smith with, again, soliciting a public officer to violate their oath. Because Giuliani, Smith, and several other unindicted people met with the Georgia House of Representatives. Again, Giuliani, Smith, Cheeley charges all 3 with soliciting a public officer to violate their oath. That was a meeting at the Senate Judiciary Committee. Count 28, gone, dismissed. Bye. Charges both Trump and Meadows with soliciting a public offer to violate their oath during the infamous perfect phone call. Woo! So, find the votes call, the perfect phone call Meadows held with Georgia Secretary of State. Gone, dismissed. Bye. We'll look at the ruling from the judge. Trump, count 38, charges Trump with soliciting a public officer to violate their oath in relation to the letter that Trump sent to Raffensperger, telling him to decertify the election or whatever the correct legal remedy is and announce the true one. Like that was a solicitation to violate his oath. Okay, well, what does that mean? What oath? What's part of the oath? We need some specificity. Now, this can come back, right? So the judge is telling us. For those asking whether the state can refile these charges at a later date, yes, they can. They can re-indict them, go back in there, specify what the charges mean, what specific part of the oath was violated, or they can take this up on appeal. So it's a nice summary from Anna Bauer, very quickly from her, but got the full opinion here. We can see what's inside. I know there's going to be a lot of reaction to this, but we'll cover this on the show. So, of course, if you want to wait for that, we will hit this again on the show. But since it's so fresh out of the oven, I think it's worth looking at. So here's what it says. It says the defendants challenge these 6 counts of the indictment, right, by special demur, and directly or through adoption. Here are the different filings that made that happen. Now they say demurs provide a means for the criminally accused to ensure that the charging document satisfies the Constitution. It challenges the form of the indictment by saying it's not specific enough. Now, pre-trial,
Well, they were going slow, that's why I swung out here.
Is expected to be perfect in form as well as substance. You have to know what it says. The challenge language of this indictment should be interpreted liberally in favor of the state, in favor of any. With any objections strictly construed against the defense. Now, despite this, with prejudice, the trial court should examine the indictment from the perspective that the accused is innocent. Like, he lacks any knowledge. Right?
4 out of 64? Man, you bought him ahead of time, huh?
Person, let's say you.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you got in touch with Unindoctrinated.
You actually didn't do it.
Sure, she wanted one too.
You did this thing, and you say, "What? I did not." You say it broke the law, so I need to know specifically what you say I did, lacking any knowledge about the incriminating facts. Now they give us some case law that we'll fast forward through. You see there, turning to the indictment, these 6 charges. They charge various defendants with solicitation, a violation of oath by public officer, violation of Georgia law. It prohibits any public officer from willfully and intentionally violating his or her oath as prescribed by law. Very generic, broad. The term of oath alleged to have been violated must be expressly prescribed, meaning it's explicitly contained in the statutory provisions. You can't just charge someone like you violated your oath. How? Well, you did. Guilty. 6 counts are similarly structured and can be summarized as follows, right? We know what these are. Trump solicited Georgia Speaker of the House. We just reviewed those in the summary from Anna Bauer. And then this last one, this one, the violated his oath of office on January 2nd by requesting him to unlawfully influence the certified election results. That's the Raffensperger call. So the defense first argues the indictment is defective because the charging language does not cite the oath each of these solicited public officers was required to take. The omission is legally harmless, as the code provides only one option relevant to each official, so he's not worried about that. And the governor, in turn, takes the oath. The secretary takes the oath. Without the possibility of an alternative oath, we agree with the state, the court says, that they are sufficiently apprised of which oath is at issue. Right? So Trump can't say, well, I don't know what oath they swore. Hey, no, there's no other oath. Even if the relevant oaths are apparent as a matter of law, the defense further contends that the counts do not detail the exact term of the oaths that are alleged to have been violated. So they swore an oath, and it's massive. Now, the state first responds that the defense are only charged with solicitation, not a violation of oath of office. Right? So they only asked someone to violate their oath. They didn't themselves violate it.
Top up here.
And argues that the great
Piggy!
required charging language.
We're going to tell him he's number 1.
Of solicitation itself.
Hey, Piggy, bam! There you go. Look!
Close enough.
You asked for her and she appears.
Elements of the underlying predicate felony, which is the case, Sanders, the case, that is alleged to have been solicited cannot be so easily ignored. In Sanders, the Georgia Supreme Court found a special demurrer should have been granted when an indictment failed to sufficiently allege the underlying felony solicited by the defendant. So the defendant solicited something. What was it? An illegal drug. Possession of an illegal drug. So this or sale. So they're asking someone else to commit a crime. They're involved in the transaction, and so they need to know what the underlying felony is. Like, you can't just say, "Well, you solicited something." What I solicit? Prostitution? What's the question? What's the underlying offense? Here they just say you violated an oath. Okay, well, what part of the oath? In particular, for an
you got to play to win, and I don't play.
Solicitation here is a felony drug possession. The court found the indictment should have averred the specific drug possessed and its quantity. So, proffer, they solicited an illegal drug, methamphetamine, in a quantity which is whatever it is, which is above the statutory threshold for this crime. Without this information, the defense could not prepare a defense. They don't know. Solicited what? Drugs, prostitution, was it meth, cocaine, another drug? When charging other compound crimes like felony murder, right? So you can, again, be charged for murder even if you're the getaway driver. You're a crew of 4 robbing a bank. One guy is the getaway driver, the guys who go into the bank, shoot involved in a commission of a felony. So you're responsible for all of the acts involved as well. So a naked charge of solicitation will not survive. So all three statutory oaths contain, all of them that everybody took here, Raffensperger and state people, all have some linguistic variation of having to swear an oath to the Constitution of the United States or to the Constitution. The amendments do not contain a reference to the term of the violated oaths. This court finds the incorporation of the constitutions, right, the U.S. Constitution and the Georgia Constitution, they violated their oath. The judge says it's so generic as to compel this court to grant the special demurs. On its own, the United States Constitution contains hundreds of clauses, any one of which can be the subject of a lifetime of study, literally, like any provision. Academics and litigators devote their entire careers to the specialization of a single amendment. To further complicate the matter, the Georgia Constitution is not a mere shadow of its federal counterpart, and although some provisions feature similar language, the Georgia Constitution has been interpreted to contain dramatically different meanings. Now, this is in marked contrast with, say, aggravated assault with a handgun, which is pretty clear, can be perpetrated in only a limited number of ways, right? It's aggravated assault with a handgun. If you have a bow and arrow, doesn't count, right? It's very specific. So if you're charged with that, you know, hey, I never even possessed a handgun. Here's my defense. Never even had one. Don't even know what it looks like, right? Never even touched one. So never had it, never assaulted anybody with a handgun. But if they say you did a crime in violation of the law, you go, what? I didn't do a crime. What are you talking about? So an indictment that merely refers to a handgun is not too vague because it infers that the weapon was either used as a firearm or as a bludgeon. So you can defend it. Now, this court's concern is less that the state has failed to allege sufficient conduct of the defense. In fact, it has alleged an abundance of the conduct. However, the lack of detail concerning the essential legal element is, in this judge's opinion, fatal. As written, these 6 counts contain all the essential elements of the crime, but fail to allege sufficient detail regarding the nature of their commission, i.e. underlying felony that was solicited. So, violation of their oath, but how, what, doing what? They do not give the defense enough information.
Yeah, I'd say just dissolve the ATF.
The defendants could have violated the Constitution and thus the statutes in dozens, if not hundreds, of distinct ways. We have no idea. Under the standards articulated by our courts, the special demur must be granted, and these 6 counts quashed by. However, these deficiencies do not apply to the corresponding overt acts, so the acts can still stay in there. And even then, a defendant can be found guilty of conspiracy even after acquittal of the overt acts. And the defendants have not provided any authority requiring the particulars of the overt act. Which is part of the RICO case. You know, RICO, it says there's a massive conspiracy and an overt act in furtherance of the conspiracy. So basically, they're saying those other overt acts can still be relevant to the conspiracy in total. So they don't say that, you know,
hey, Jody.
Scott McAfee, the judge, is not saying there's any justification for also striking those overt acts as the charges. So very good news, I would say. That
accidentally
of these overt
started with the wrong name again. So we're not going to waste the notification.
Charges,
we only got about 30 minutes left.
Charges are gone, and that
unless we run into something.
Big one with that Raffensperger phone call.
Fucking busy day ahead of me already.
You can reconvene a grand jury and bring these charges back. But they have got to be just furious about that because this is the phone call, right? That is the Raffensperger phone call. Perfect phone call that he's perfectly allowed to have. And this is good. This is good news. So, you know, the question, of course, is what is the judge going to do for the other issue, of course, the case in its entirety. So, very interesting stuff, my friends, and Technofog had a good summary on this as well. He says, explaining the dismissal and what comes next. We just read through the whole thing, obviously. And he says, the public still awaits
that's weird.
Rulings, motions to offer new evidence, and the ruling on the motion to disqualify. These rulings might come this week the earliest. We suspect that McAfee has determined he has enough evidence that we can see there's a possibility that he allows for more witnesses. If he wanted more evidence, he would probably have allowed for it already. Yeah, I think he's probably got it.
YouTube removed about 10 of my subs too.
Disqualification decision based on the evidence. We're still leaning that Willis and Wade are disqualified. Oh, again, there's no guarantee. Yeah, I think it could be.
Unless there's just 10 people that don't like me no more.
He has to do it in this. Is maybe he dismisses these counts like this is the gimme before the bad news drops. Right? He's like, well, I'm going to dismiss a couple things. Weighing it out a bit. Here's some good news for the defense because I'm about to hit you with some really bad news for the defense. It's kind of buttering us up or something else. But interesting stuff. And
of course they did.
Radio. Who brought that up yesterday?
What is there to like?
But yeah, it's interesting. So he's running for office. He was on the radio show yesterday. We'll probably also cue that up for the show.
There's plenty of them, Dirty.
All right, let's see what you guys say about this. What do you guys
plenty of them.
What do you think about it? You think it's good news? Whatever.
I'm still banned on NH Girls channel and Northwoods Press.
What's up, Spices? That was you? You shared that with us? You rock.
Angry Vet tried talking to them, but they're not going to. They're going to listen to Essie no matter what.
It should say McAfee dismisses some charges. Thank you, Rob, for that. Guest says, God bless McAfee. He has nothing to lose. Doing the right thing is all he can do. Nana says, I pray he dismisses the whole thing. I think that would be fair. Scott says, I don't think he's going to disqualify. Lelia says maybe he's cleaning up the case, so if any other attorneys wants to take over, it's cleaner for them to do.
Yeah, I know.
Could be. We'll see. Hey, are Nice and Calabrese appearing in the Docs case? Says hi, Gio. Let's see. I think we looked at that yesterday, and I don't think that we saw any major adjustments on the calendar. But I've seen a couple of...
Yeah, I got banned the night I tried to get in their...
in the Florida Docs case. Let's see.
A little discussion.
On this. Attorney up in the case, Walt Nada, and Carlos, attorney, Shear for Citizens United, and for Gary Larson, for Steve Calabresi, and Edwin Meese added. So attorney updates. Yeah, so I don't know what that update is about. But it looks like Gene Shearer is appearing for United for Citizens.
Well, it's because Essie doesn't hate
Gary
you, Dirty.
For
some reason, she hates me. And my wife, for some reason, even though my wife's never absolutely said anything.
And for Gary Larson.
For a panel?
Yeah, that's kind of a weird update. It's hard to read that. I don't know exactly. So this court clerk, I don't know exactly what's going on there.
I can do a panel.
Kind of a weird update.
I can do it from work today if you want.
For Citizens United, for Gary
Be another
Larson,
notification because I can't do my phone. Well, I'm not going to do it on my phone.
Location and see if there's enough some more clarity on that. Because it's kind of a weird order.
Yeah, I know. She's cool as fuck.
Paperless order. There you go. Consent request notices for attorney Gene Shear. The court reserves the power to withdraw permission for the special appearance. Failure to abide by the order will result in problems. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that Trump has Ed Meese or Steve Calabresi representing.
That's all right, brother. We'll be back. Lying up on me. Jeez, I didn't even see it or I wouldn't have swung out. I'll ditch back in between these trucks, but I'm not speeding up for him. Look at him.
Very soon, actually.
Right on my ass.
Take a look at the calendar. At robertgobet.com.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. You know?
Next week?
If you want to take a stance on something, take a stance. Don't.
Yeah, so
I hate wishy-washy.
Florida classified documents, oral arguments on Trump's motion to dismiss. So the calendar tells us that
there's nothing worse than wishy-washy.
Motion to dismiss, oral arguments, unconstitutional vagueness is for tomorrow. Walt Nada's motion to dismiss based on Presidential Records Act. That's Trump's as well. Motion hearing is set for tomorrow, 3/14, 10 a.m. Judge Eileen Cannon presiding.
Handful of change.
Okay, so that's tomorrow. So
I don't
guess
keep
what?
any change in my car. I should.
It's hygiene.
Probably keep
Gary
at
B
least.
says the saga continues in our daytime drama. The days
I just am in
of
so
the
many areas where I
Georgia
could get
DA.
robbed.
Dun, dun, dun. No, I don't think those will be live streams, Nathan. That's federal court, so that should all be on lockdown. SB.
I think my phone bill came out.
Yes, but
My balance is definitely not thought it was going
I
to be.
think they'll be live stream. But we might have some people doing some tweet threads. You know, Julie Kelly, I think, is usually down there, so we might see some activity over there. What's up, Lelia? Says he also said in that interview he had started writing the opinion before the other.
I use both my cup holder.
Announced the election, and that he was okay. He was on track to finish it by the deadline. Sounds like whatever his mind was made up, he hasn't changed it. Says Lelia.
All right.
Good stuff. Yeah, we saw
You
that.
guys swung
Rocky.
back in.
So we got some nice donuts in the house. Thank you, my friends. Lewis is here, starting the morning off. Says hello, watchers, and hello, Rob. Good morning to you, Lewis. Well, good afternoon to you, my friends. That time change is still throwing us off. It's a beautiful day. It's a
Canadian
beautiful day.
pennies.
Rocky says, why?
We get a lot of them around here just because we're so close to the border.
Office for corruption and conflict of interest. Like, that's another good point there. Maybe he's just buttering us up. He's like, all right, here's one for you.
We get a lot of Canadian dimes too.
That could be true. Well, if he's going to disqualify her, then maybe he's not dismissing the case. Okay, if you're about to dismiss the case, then maybe you don't write that over. So maybe he's just
Are they?
disqualified and he's not.
If they are, why are they magnetic?
Cleaning it up before it gets handed over to a new DA.
All Canadian coins are magnetic.
Lockie says, remember Biden?
You can pick 'em up with a magnet.
Of American terrorists and extremists. Yes. Well, guess what? Because
What there is to talk about, really, Michael?
coming after you. Kids, America sleeping.
I've never said anything negative about them.
Says also China owns
Live all the time.
St. Brett Massey is telling everyone the Democrats.
Oh yeah, that's those Coinstar machines. That's what they use in those machines to spit out the
Federalist judge. He has little chance of winning the election with such a Democratic
Canadian coins.
In my opinion, he's establishing his own
They used a big magnet inside there. It spins around as it's coming by, and it collects all the.
Yeah, maybe they can throw that up to
The Canadian coins will stick to a magnet.
something like that. We have the White House and the federal judiciary. So it needs some good judges in there. McAfee is doing the right thing. And bolstering.
I mean, I used to empty the machine
He
out.
says, wasn't one of those phone calls illegally obtained? Yeah, so I think it's that Raffensperger phone call. So the Raffensperger phone call, which was just dismissed today, we actually talked
When I
about
first
it.
got out of the army, I worked at Kroger's for a little while as customer service, and we'd have to clear that out every once in a while. And all the Canadian coins were stuck to the big magnet on the inside.
Look, they talked about
I don't know, maybe different now. I mean, that was in fucking 90s.
Everything obtained in the aftermath of that needs to be dismissed, but it just got dismissed. So Cindy says, no, Rob, it's not good news. He gave us a carrot. All charges should be dismissed. The jury pool has been contaminated. Well, as of today, I'd say it's good news. I think that if he dismisses the case, that's more good news. If he qualifies Fanny, it's also more good news. If he doesn't,
Overheated 3 times.
yeah, it's going to feel
Shit.
like this is kind of, you know, a token little, here you go, we're gonna give you a little bit of a bite because we know we're about to screw you on the other end. It could be bad news. It could turn out to be, well, it's kind of.
I mean, I've got a one of those 5-gallon water bottles just about full.
Contaminated.
That's like my emergency.
So we'll see what the judge does. Right? If he says Fanny's great, case is back on.
It's mostly white meat too.
Let's see what you did here. Lockie says, don't forget Jack Smith's witness went on CNN the other day and pretty much said what he's going to testify to. Yeah, we did see that too. Employee number 5, Mar-a-Lago. This old guy says, I don't think McAfee's going to dismiss the case, but will remove Fannie and Wade. Cleans up the case to allow a new DA to deal with and whether to dismiss the case. I think that's probably a fair take on that. I think that's a fair take. Dismissing a case is a big deal. It's a big deal. Now, their corruption, I think, is a bigger deal, and their lies to the court, I think, taint the whole case. He really should dismiss the case. I mean, there's no question about it. But that is a political, oh my gosh, if he dismisses it, that's such a political thing. You know. Disqualifying Fannie, I think, is probably the safer thing. He should absolutely dismiss the case. Like, the whole thing is tainted beyond belief. It's reprehensible. But yeah, I could see him. That to me would feel like a safer split. I see this great question from Three Girlies. Shout out to the Three Girlies household. It says, could this be splitting?
Yeah, the steel. That's why they're magnetic.
The Fannie ethics stuff. Yeah.
No, we're not on a trip. I'm just on my way to work.
Here you go. I'm about to
normally, you know, these aren't trips. Whenever I use my main account for driving, I just started the stream with the wrong one. I don't know why it was set up YouTube on my work phone, but that's okay. I'll still start a new one when I get there. Might take about 15-20 minutes, but I'll start a new one.
Yeah, Ed Meese wrote the Jack Smith disqualification motion. Him and the other two law professors, they were the ones challenging Jack Smith's appointments and appropriations as saying he's not legally qualified. Sideways says, what happened if I'm late? Well, you get a warning. If it happens again, you go to a principal's office. That's what happens. The Hill is here. From Mark Butcher says, George Conway says Trump libeled Carol again.
No, I got a new one. A new work phone. I upgraded it. I went from the SE, the iPhone SE, to the 13. Later, Jody. Drop back in the desktop stream if you have time. Fitz is here. Is he not just saving her Fannie for fruit of the poisonous tree? From fruit of the poisonous tree? Could be. Yeah, because that charge was the big one. Spicy says, if anyone wants to help me go through the book, I have audio files. I've gotten a book too before I needed a break, but the BS from Spices. Hey, Sadie says, they already got the other side moved over here.
Says, yeah, I just typed the same and Robert was saying it and didn't print, but like mine's here, yeah, the political picture is going to be very, very against him dismissing the case in its entirety. But he definitely should. What's up, Kenny Smith? I see your chat. There it is. I should probably be in the correct mode. What's up, K Bean? Thank you for the super chat comments. And
I love AJOT and Toast panels.
What's up, Mary Williams? Mary Williams is saying, yeah, another great point. Does this mean he's softening, not disqualifying Fannie? I'm so invested in this. This is all I can think about. It's funny, Mary. It's a very, very interesting case. It's unlike anything I think we'll probably ever see again. I mean, corruption at a county attorney level that's so flagrant, and they lied to the court. It was like a total circus. And it is, I think, symbolic of the rot in our justice system in general, which is why it's so, so captivating. But yeah, it could be, right? It could be that he's going to give the defense a little bit and then not disqualify her. I could totally see that happening. And Andrew says, has there been a motion to dismiss for the church speech yet? That could still be.
Yeah, I agree.
So they did argue about that. That's part of their forensic misconduct, which is like prosecutorial misconduct. And they did argue that. I mean, I think that's in contention for this judge's decision. It's part of this entire conflict, right? That's part of the cover-up.
The one thing about panels too, though, is it's just a an echo chamber.
Prosecutorial misconduct.
I mean, I like panels when you have
she went out there specifically referencing
a bit of a debate.
Racist, and I guess like.
That's why I love when Bao gets in a panel, just because. He'll debate on against a subject that he agrees with.
That would come later down the line. Probably some of the things that.
Ooh, retracted.
So certainly that would be coming as well.
Yeah, or helping others. Yeah, those are always awesome.
If if the case is not dismissed.
Not enough of those.
So we've got some great comments. What's up, Just Rhonda's here. What's up, Just Rhonda?
And
Jake Miller.
by the way,
dismissal goes away and it never gets exposed to the
yeah,
public.
right. Not a bitch and moan session.
Dismisses, it'll get appealed probably. Cindy says, did you guys hear when he was going to give his judgment? So he said by
Dirty.
Friday he thought. Third time late sends you to
Yeah, I haven't seen. I used to watch his too, Unindoctrinated, but I haven't seen him do any in a while, or I'm not getting notifications anymore. I'll have to check that. I have not even seen much from him at all lately.
That creature in Star Wars. Remember when Luke gets thrown down into that pit? That was the congressional pit. And that big thing that came out, that he put the bone in the mouth, that was Jerry Nadler's brother. He's been down there for like 160 years. That's what happens if you're like, if the DA is disqualified from the case, does that change the venue? No, actually, it should just keep the venue, like McAfee would stay on the case, but they would just sub in a new prosecutor. They would just bring in a county attorney. Did you guys hear? We got this one. What's up? Political moms in the house. Hey, Jigam, I got your email yesterday. I'm sorry, Locals is still not working to me. Can't even like you. Sorry. Thank you, Jigam. I did get your email, and you were having like some serious problems with Locals, so we're going to continue to sort it out. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for being here, in spite of the problems. Sadie says he should.
Yeah, look at that traffic. Yeah, I'm gonna be going home a different way. Look at that shit, backed up. Damn.
Disqualify her as that message is going to be strong and taint her election. So there may be some good, but we know how tainted counties are in Georgia, because that could be contagious. They don't want to find a way.
That other side is fucked.
Yeah, dismissing the Trump case.
I'll probably just take Dixie Highway all the way down.
I don't know that he's going to do that. And there's more like Jabba the Hutt. Spicy says Locals working for me today. Well, PC. That's good. That's weird. It's not working for me. Some people works okay for other people. Yeah, Pelosi should be charged, says Digga. We got Steve Clark says, Just Rhonda says, I never had a notification. All right, so let's see what some of the reaction looks like on X. Let's see if there is, some news agencies there say anything about this, since it's fresh out of the oven. And if there's any other reaction. Okay, so here's what MSNBC said about Charlie Kirk.
Go! Fucking
Lack
idiot.
of detail concerning an essential legal element. This is what they say.
Breaking news, Blaine. We wanted to ask you about the election there in Georgia last night, but we just got a filing from the court there in Fulton County. What can you tell us?
Look at him backing up on the other line.
Yeah, I've just obtained that filing, and basically what is happening is that Judge Scott McAfee is dismissing several of the charges here in Georgia against former President Donald Trump. 6 of the charges in this order. The charges so far, and I'm still making my way through the judge's ruling right now, but appear to do with solicitation of violation of oath by a public officer. Those were certainly some of the charges that he was facing. Other people that were named, of course, Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, Johnny Eastman, Mark Meadows. And so this is certainly notable because the former president was facing a number of charges, but for him to have 6 of them removed is notable. Now, it's important to note, he's still facing charges here in Georgia, still facing charges in Fulton County. We're also still waiting on a major decision from Judge Scott McAfee as to whether or not Bonnie Willis can continue to remain prosecutor on this case. This is not that decision. So to see this decision from the judge to come out this morning is a bit of a surprise. I've reached out to Trump's Georgia attorney here, Steve Sadow, who of course has been representing him as the lead attorney, to see if he has any comment. We've also reached out to the DA's office to see if they have any feedback or plan to push back on this ruling by the judge.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, so no comments from any of the other people who are out there. And this case, man, it just gets worse by the minute. I mean, it's not the indictment was flawed. They're not good lawyers. We've seen this.
Well, just like the history books, the good guys always win every war. because they write the history books.
Sydney and Jenna and Chesebro. Here's what Kyle Cheney said about this. He's reporting for Politico. He says he's thrown out 6 counts. He says the allegations that they tried to get Georgia officials to violate their oaths were not detailed enough. Prosecutors, McAfee noted, can appeal his decision or refile the charges with greater detail. So this may end up being a formality. But a standalone count charging Trump for the Raffensperger call is wrapped up in this decision, but that conduct is also at the heart of the conspiracy charge, which remains in the indictment. So it doesn't mean Trump's off the hook for the call. It's certainly off the charges for the call. And yeah, interesting. So what's going to happen? Spices said, read Fanny's book. It's like she's a rock star DA who wins every case. I know, they turned her into this caricature of like this TDS Avenger. What are you doing? We watched her here, my friends. We were here. We watched her in that. She led that Harrison Floyd bond hearing. It was pathetic. What does demur mean?
I mean, that's pretty obvious, like, Michael.
It's a legal term like to quash or to delete, to decline. Let's look at what the official definition is. Search the web. An objection that an opponent's point is irrelevant while granting the factual basis of the point.
Look at our last 6 presidents. There's only one that did not gain financially while in office.
So here, let's see what this letter from. Okay, so a general demur challenges.
Oh no, squirrel! Don't commit suicide.
All the claims brought. Yeah, it's saying the indictment was invalid. Might be a better.
Is your brother down here? Did he die already? Oh no, it's a McDonald's bag. Yeah, that's classy.
It's actually not sufficient. A specific demur objects to a particular problem with the details of a pleading.
So Dirty's house.
It's basically just invalid.
I'm doxing Dirty. This is his house right here.
The facts were true. Does the charge match the law and give the defense enough knowledge about how to defend the case so that they can properly defend the case? Like, they have to know what the charges are. So think of it as just saying that the underlying charges are invalid. It's pointing to a broader problem that is. Spud says Fanny is not the superhero that you want to see in spandex. No, you know. Dragon says it's a written response to a complaint filed in a lawsuit. Pleads for a dismissal on the point that if the facts alleged in the
Secretary of the Commissary.
basis for a lawsuit.
That sounds like a prison term.
Definition. The charge is invalid, and you'd say it's invalid because it's not stating the law. It's not actually stating a crime. Oopsie says, can you recap, summarize which ones dismissed?
Why does it want me to remove you?
Yeah, we did that right at the start, Boopsie. You may have missed it at the very beginning. Anna Bauer did a great job of that.
Secretary to hose.
6 counts, once again. 6 counts are gone. Giuliani, Eastman, and Smith, gone for them. They apparently asked public officers during a Georgia State Capitol hearing. Count 5's gone. That is Trump calling a public officer, House Speaker David Ralston. So that David Ralston, he's gone. That charge is gone. Count 6, Giuliani and Smith soliciting a public offer to violate their oath back during the Georgia House of Representatives. Gone. Count 23. That's Giuliani, Smith, and Sheely meeting with the Georgia Senate.
He's acting like he's got the right to like cross in front of me. He's yelling at me.
The perfect phone call, gone. And Trump's charges, he sent a letter to Raffensperger. So
Split tail channel.
Also gone. So 6 charges gone.
A lot of those electric Amazon vans.
Those are big ones. Yeah, those are big ones. So you celebrate those victories, celebrate that they're gone. We'll see if they bring them back. And maybe they will. Maybe it's, you could say maybe it's splitting the baby, or maybe it's just warming them up. Maybe it's warming
I do, but not for my channel, just a personal one. And I don't hardly ever post on it. I don't do a whole lot on Facebook in general. I have inDOCtriNATION Live Facebook.
Hey, what's up, Jennifer?
I guess I could make an Instagram with that. But yeah.
Shout out to our friends in the Southern Yard.
My son, the most I do on Instagram is my son sends me messages on it, and then I check those.
Yeah, there you go.
It's about the only time he'll send me a funny reel once in a while.
It's insufficient.
There's just so many things. There's so many fucking ways to message, and
Yeah, with blood stains on their hands. That's true. Yeah, not good. You don't know
I
where
mean, I do when I multi-stream from the desktop.
Just Ron does here.
I usually will also stream to the inDOCtriNATION live on Facebook,
Yeah, thanks. I missed the beginning also. I went late. Yeah, no problem.
but almost all my streams get muted
But yeah, that's the
because
and
you know,
Ron did a good job there. And
free
I saw
speech can be
Elliot
dangerous.
comment. Let's see what Elliot says. It says Trump's lawyers said that they would block
All right, I got to get in there. I got to make a couple of quick phone calls to see if I can get somebody to start today in like 2 hours.
talking about the hearing tomorrow. This case in Florida taking place tomorrow on the calendar. Oral
Oh yeah,
on
it
these
should just showed you resubscribed now.
you can add this to your calendar.
On.
Just click this button here at robertgobea.com/calendar.
Cool.
And
Freedom is scary. I don't use that one.
Elliot saying that
That's somebody else's tagline. So, but it's hard to not use other people's taglines because a lot of them are just common shit. There's a few people that use freedom is scary. Wow, here's the deal does and civil rights lawyer. They both use it.
10 to 12 defense replies are due.
Yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit. If you want to jump back in, it's up to you. It's up to you guys. I'm hoping I'll be able to get it set up about 1:15. Love you guys. Thanks for riding with me and keeping me safe. Peace.
So, special counsel Jack Smith tomorrow. There is a